Hey, Shalom, Malcolm's Rakamak Pash from Jim London, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Chakwadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful that's pushing his truth in all sincerity. Back again with another video. I got this article from the Telegraph, but I'm going to switch over to, what's the other article from? Where you gone? LBC, right? Because I don't have a subscription to Telegraph. I don't plan on paying what they want. I don't know what they want. I don't plan on paying for them, so. But this is where I originally saw it, and the headline states this, right? Oh, I'll get rid of this, bro. Anyway, right, so, yeah. Article says this: the US asks Britain for help, okay, tracking UFOs after 800 sightings reported, right? So there's been an influx in UFOs or UAP sightings, right? You know, some credible, some not, whatever. You know, we're not going to claim that every sighting is a so-called UFO or chariot. We're not going to claim that, but there is a serious issue that the Pentagon and the US are taking seriously, right? Of certain phenomena that they can't explain or want to deal with, right? And they know they're not hunting for aliens. Okay, let's just put that out there straight away. This ain't nothing about aliens, man. Okay, Esau's not looking for little green men, right? He knows what he's looking for, and it ain't little green men, man. All right, he's waiting for the signs, or he's waiting for the angels of the Lord. You know, he's looking to catch them, or to scope them out. All right, Esau knows this, but obviously, they're trying to data gather right now, so they're saying, and they're asking the UK for help, right, to get more information from them and their sightings, to see if they can come up with, some sort of information or plan or whatever, to deal with these what to call it, man, these unknown entities, man, because Esau exerts a lot of control over the earth because he's in rulership, man. But there's something that's outside of his realm of control right now, and that's these chariots, man, that are just popping up and doing crazy things. Right? Esau has no way of managing that. All right, so this is why all these things were put in play. That Trump brought in the Space Force and all this kind of stuff. Got Buzz Lightyear out there. Nah, joking. But he's also got his Space Force investigating into these things and potential threats and all this kind of stuff, right? And so they're extending that now more, asking for the UK for help, right? So they're taking it more seriously. And I say it's not to say that these men were doing all this stuff prior to them officially coming out and speaking about these things, because they've been investigating into these things for ages, and had different programs in place and whatever. But the fact that they're making it more public is really saying that they're expecting something to happen, or they're creating something happening, or for lack of better words, man. Because they could use false flags surrounding this and all kinds of things, man. So whatever the case may be, right? It just means them talking about it more publicly, meaning something's happening, something's gonna happen. Okay, which is gonna be more unshocking, so to speak, right? People are more likely to believe it because whatever, official government lines and this shit, right? But anyway, let's just get into this, right? I'll read this little bit here, and I'm going to jump over to the other article, right? It says, the Pentagon wants more examples of unidentified objects, as NASA panel says we need high quality data on phenomena. The Pentagon has asked the UK to share any data it has on UFOs as it steps up investigations into the phenomena, with a task force receiving 800 reported sightings, right? So let me shift over. Where we at? No, not here. Right, it's the same thing, right, from LBC. as you can see, right? It says US asks UK for help with UFO investigation as Pentagon says alien life has not been ruled out. Now, they like to keep you suspended in suspense and, oh, we don't know what we're looking for. We could be anything, right? Including bulbous headed green aliens or whatever. But they know that's not what they know that's not what's out there. They know that's not what they're looking for. All right. So I'll read some of this. In a remarkable development, the Pentagon has officially reached out to the United Kingdom, urging them to share any information they possess regarding unidentified flying objects. This request comes in as the investigations into perplexing sightings gain momentum. Right, with a dedicated task force already fielding a staggering 800 reported encounters. At a recent gathering of the esteemed Five Eyes Intelligence Sharing Alliance, sounds spooky, right? Five Eyes. Consisting of the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Okay, these are the Five Eyes. Okay, that they're watching, right? The primary objective was to enhance collaboration in terms of reporting and analyzing these enigmatic aerial apparitions. Speaking at the gathering, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the head of the Pentagon's UFO task force, known by the rather intriguing name of the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Okay, mad ones, right? Shed light on the discussions underway. We've engaged in discussions with our esteemed partners on matters of data sharing. Let's see. So Dr. Kirkpatrick revealed that the Arrow has witnessed a surge in reported sightings, now standing at a remarkable count of 800, a notable increase from 650, the 650 figure he presented before Congress last month. So it's already jumped up another 150 in a month, right? So these sightings predominantly feature spherical objects. All right, we're gonna get into this, right? Because it's in the scriptures, man. If you don't want to hear it, you don't want to acknowledge it, man. But these things are in the scriptures, okay? And yes, they are returning. Yes, they are out here in the earth, okay? And they're gonna come out in masses, okay? When when Yahushua returns, right? So these sightings predominantly feature spherical objects measuring between 1 to 4 meters, frequently observed at altitudes ranging from 10,000 to 30,000 feet. It is worth noting, however, that Dr. Kirkpatrick classified only a small percentage, around 2 to 5%, as anomalous, thus warranting further scrutiny. Right, so the rest of it is just like, oh, yeah, it could be a weather balloon, yeah, it could be a satellite, yeah, it could be a drone or a plane or whatever, right? It could be anything, floating lanterns, whatever. But 2 to 5% are genuine interest to them. Like they don't know, they can't work it out, right? And that's what we're saying. Not everything that people see is that they don't understand the sky. Oh, technically by definition, it is a UFO. They don't understand what it is, but we know what objects that these men are trying to look at. Okay, and it's the chariots of the Lord. Okay, so we're not going to say that every sighting is a chariot. Of course not. But they are out there. Okay, and they have been observed. Right, and it does spook the shit out of Esau because they're doing shit that things that can't really be done or shouldn't be done or couldn't be done here on the planet, right? And that spooks the shit out of Esau, man, because he's not on that level. All right. So he revealed NASA's intentions to expand scientific and academic partnerships with allied countries, aiming to incorporate them in his burgeoning international endeavor. What's an international endeavor now? All right. During the session, Dr. Kirkpatrick showcased a video previously released featuring a metallic orb captured in the Middle East last year. Right? He remarked, "We encounter such sightings across the globe, right? They're everywhere, right? Often demonstrating intriguing, seemingly unconventional maneuvers." Yeah, right degree turns and 0 to 60 to 0, just like that. Doing all kinds of crazy stuff, phasing and expanding, retracting, and all kinds of stuff, man. They witnessed. All right, so they want to get to the bottom of this, or they're saying they want to get to the bottom of this. Like I said, they already kind of know, but they want to confirm. So they're saying, okay. Um, that's pretty much it. I don't think there was anything else that was interesting in here. So they've updated the acronym, right? So the term UFOs the term UFOs long widely associated with notions of flying saucers and aliens, right? Because that's what he's was pushing in his movies. Because he'd rather have you believe in that than believe in that angels exist, that God exists, right? So he pushed that bullshit out there. Has been replaced in official government parlance by the abbreviation UAP, which, well, what I was aware of before is an unidentified aerial phenomena, right? Which it goes on to say, it says recent US law revised the UAP acronym, previously confined to aerial phenomena, to stand for unidentified anomalous phenomena. So just stranger things, right? Expanding the NASA study study team's research scope to include puzzling events in space or at sea, because you know a lot of chat has been sighted in the sea area, right, around the seas and that, and the NASA be catching a lot of things in space too, right? For them to have to cut feeds and stuff, right? You don't want to cause no one to panic, right? But some man catch these things, right? So moreover, both NASA and defense intelligence officials have stressed that while the existence of intelligent alien life has not been ruled out, so they're leaving that out there on the cards for you to believe that that possibly could be the case. They're not ruling it out, even though they know it doesn't exist in the way that they're kind of suggesting, in a way, right? Um, that while the existence of intelligent alien life has not been ruled out, they have found no evidence suggesting an extraterrestrial origin of UFO sightings, right? But ultimately, these are just, I mean, they are intelligent alien life forms in a way. Okay, they're from the spiritual realm, but technically that's here around us, right? Um, they have found no evidence suggesting an extraterrestrial origin in UFO sightings. As the Pentagon's pursuit of UFO relations gains momentum, so, like I said, it's a growing thing, right? International collaboration and the acquisition of reliable data emerge as the focal points, with researchers striving to shed light on the mysteries that permeate our skies. All right, so they're taking it more seriously, right? And they said they're getting a flood of sightings coming in. They want to investigate because, like I said, something's gonna happen soon, man. And Esau's kind of preparing the minds of the people for that kind of outcome. All right, so they brought it out into the public now. They're still keeping their lips tight of what it is. They're just gonna have you guessing all this time, but just acknowledge that something is out there or whatever. You know. Um. So let me start with this. I want to get into Ezekiel 1, but I'm going to start with this, right? And this is Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. It says, Then I turned and lifted up my eyes, and behold, and beheld a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits, right? And so it's just kind of interesting. I can't remember exactly the measurements of these cubits, right? Or what length that translates into meters or whatever. But they did say that they were at 1 to 4 meters or something like that. That the ones that they were seeing, but it's bigger, right? But that's what they happen to quote, right? Can't see it now. Where is it? Well, I can't see it right now, but you would have saw it, as I read it, right? Okay, yeah, it's not in numbers, that's why. Yeah, between 1 to 4 meters, right? So yeah, it was kind of interesting observation, right? So yeah, this chariot wasn't a particularly big chariot. Just like 4 meters is not a particularly big chariot either, in the scheme of things, right? So then he said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, right? They were saying it's a global thing. Okay, these things that permeate our skies, right? But this is a curse unto unto men, unto the earth, right? Because these things are not, as much as they ain't done nothing per se, in terms of like damaging, right? They ain't coming in to attack nobody like that per se, right? Or because they haven't done nothing yet, not mean they ain't gonna come and do something, man. Because their whole purpose is to come and fuck this kingdom up, man. So when the time's right. Okay, that's why it's gonna be a curse, because they're gonna play their part in destroying the kingdoms of the earth. All right. So this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. All right. I will bring it forth, said the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. Right. And Esau is that thief. His kingdom is about to be destroyed, and America is about to be utterly destroyed. Okay. And into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Right. So these things are a curse or a plague upon the earth. Okay, and that's why they're spotted all over the earth. And that's why everyone's like, "Oh, what's going on?" Potential threat. These governments are looking at it as potential threats and that, because they don't have no control over them. The things are coming into their airspace and they can't do nothing about it. So yeah, it's a cause for concern, because we don't, they don't know. They say they don't know what these things are doing, why they're here, or whatever it is. All right, so they're troubled by it. Okay, some people are troubled by the fact that there could be aliens or whatever. Some people like the fact that there's aliens out there. There's a whole range of different mindsets about what these things are and what they're coming to do. Some are happy, some are scared, whatever, right? But truth be told, the only ones that should be happy are the Israelites, the elect, right? Because they're part of our salvation, man, right? And really, it should be a terror unto everybody else, right? Because they're gonna bring terror. Okay, that's why it's a curse upon the whole earth. All right. So it's been a while. I haven't gone through this for a while, man. So I'm not think I'm gonna break down every aspect of this right now. I'll have to go back through it. But this, outlines, the angels and the chariots, right? And you're gonna see, how this is described as things that these guys witness, or they observe when they talk about these so-called UFOs, right? So let's just get into it, man. I'll do what I can with it, right? It says Ezekiel 1 verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. Okay, and in the scriptures, the chariots are mentioned as different things: clouds, rolls, whirlwinds, and all types of stuff, horses, right? And I'm gonna show you that in a bit anyway. But so a great cloud and a fire enfolding in itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance, that they had the likeness of a man. Okay, so they had the visage, the appearance of a man, in terms of its form, right? But it has some quirky details to it, right? And these represents, some of these represent characteristics and whatnot, right? So everyone had 4 faces, right? So he's a man, but he had 4 faces, right? Spooky, right? But like I said, kind of represent characteristics, right? Everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass, and they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides, and they 4 had their faces and their wings. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went. They went everyone straight forward, right? So they didn't turn, right? They just went. Omnidirectional, just went. Yeah, they didn't need to turn around, turn 90 degrees that way, then turn and turn their bodies around, nothing like that. They didn't need to do that. They could just travel, right? So as for the likeness of their faces, they 4 had the face of a man, the face of a lion. On the right side, they had the 4, and let me read that again. As for the likeness of their faces, they 4 had the face of a man, and the face of a lion on the right side, and they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side, and they 4 had the face of an eagle. Right, so thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and two covered their bodies. And they went every one straight forward, whither the spirit was to go. They went, and they turned not when they went. Right. So, like I mentioned about these chariot sightings or these UFO sightings, right? When they observe some of the movements, that's what they say. What's the word they used? Wasn't it peculiar? Um, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It says unconventional maneuvers, right? To demonstrate intriguing and seemingly unconventional maneuvers, right? When they observe these UFOs, right, they're doing maneuvers that can't be replicated, right? They can stop and start, like go from mad speeds to zero, just stop. Like in this way, you have to slow down to zero. You don't just stop at zero. Okay, you have to accelerate to 100. Man can just go to 100. You know, you got to turn a car. You got to turn. You got to turn a plane. It's got to take an arc to change direction. These didn't have to do that. They can 90-degree angle just turn at any speed. They can stop from any speed. They can accelerate to any speed. Instantly. You know. Um. So as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and spirits of fire. That's what the scripture speaks about them as, right? Spirits like flames of fire, right? Um, and like the appearance of lamps, it went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. Now, you know, this makes me imagine or think about, Dragon Ball Z. We sometimes reference it. For us that grew up in that era and watched Dragon Ball Z, right? All the energy, the aura that surrounded them, and like Gohan had the Super Saiyan 2 and had all the lightning, cracking around him and shit. This is what it makes you think about. Where the inspiration comes from, because everything is inspired by from these scriptures, really, right? But they just produced this energy, this aura, this flame that surrounded them. Okay, with lightning cracking, And verse 14, and the living creatures ran and returned. The living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Fast. Like I said, they don't have to accelerate. They just can go to 100, stop, come back, and it's like nothing. Light speed, light speed things. All right. So now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl, and they four had one likeness. Their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel, right? And this get the idea that the sources and stuff like that, certain wheels, a spherical shape, this is what man are really seeing, right? It says, when they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went, right? So these angels, okay, are inside these things, inside these UFOs that you call, right? And they follow the angel. They are a part or an extension of the angel, as it's going to go on to say, right? So, and they went, and when they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them. Right? Man, talk about lights, surrounded with lights, stuff like that. Right? There's these eyes, right? And the living creatures went. So, and when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them, and when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Right? So they'll say the only direction they go up, down, wherever they want to go. They can teleport, phase in, phase out of things. You name it, they can do it. Right? So wherever the spirit was to go, they went thither. So wherever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. Right? So they're in the midst of the wheel. They're in the middle of the wheel. and they travel with the angel. Okay, it's just a vessel that they ride around in. Okay, a chariot. All right. And when those went, these went, and when those stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the colour of the terrible crystal. I have to look what that is, man. The terrible crystal, right? Stretched forth over the heads above. And under the firmament were their wings straight, the one toward the other. Every one had two, which covered on this side, and every one had two, which covered on that side their bodies. And when they went, I heard the noise of the wings, like the noise of great waters. Right? Now I know that when Esau observed these, some of these things, right, they don't have any noise sometimes, right? And that kind of freaks them out because they ain't got no engines. What they running on, man? You know what I mean? What they running on? But you could also probably understand that something that moves at that speed might create things like sonic booms and stuff like that. So maybe that's what this is speaking about. That's how I don't know, but this is what it's got me thinking about. So when they went, I heard the noise of their wings, like the noise of great waters. Loudness, it's just loud, right? As the voice of the Almighty, the voice of speech, as the noise of an host. When they stood, they let down their wings. And there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads when they stood and let down their wings. And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone, and upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it. And I saw as the colour of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upwards, and from the appearance of his loins even downwards. I saw it as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. Again, it's that aura. As the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness around about. That this was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord, Yahweh. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. All right, so these beings, these angels, and these chariots that are associated with them, they're of the Lord. Right? These are angels, these are messengers, of the Lord. He's the one that reigns above there. He's the one that gives them the orders and the commands to go do what they go do. All right, so they're out here traveling throughout the earth, doing whatever is, whatever mission they've been assigned to. Right, and that's what they go and do. And this is why it's a curse of the whole earth, man. Because these are omnipotent beings out here, man. And Esau can't do a damn thing against that. Even though he thinks that if I just do this or gather this information, I can do this and do that. Like, Esau don't have a chance in hell against these types of beings, man. These beings are high-powered beings, man. These are high-powered beings that you're dealing with, man. Okay, that's why you be witnessing unconventional maneuvers, man, because they're high-powered beings. Okay, beings that shape reality. Think about that. Right? These powers that, as you read in Genesis 1, the powers plural, right? They made the earth. Here, Yahweh Shai, they made the earth and everything in it. They shape reality, man. They control reality. So yeah, they're capable of doing crazy things. Right? But they're still nothing but workers, employees of Yahweh. He's the one that rules over them. He's the ultimate, he's the most high. That's why he's the most high. But you're dealing with high-powered beings, man, that man is just not capable of fucking with. Must have like Blade. You must not know who you're fucking with, right? You don't know who you're messing with, man. And you're gonna be, everyone's gonna see that on June 29th. So like a fight promotion. We're gonna see this on June 23rd. Who the greatest is. Nah, but when your house shot turns up, we're gonna see who the power is, man, in the earth. We're gonna see if you're really up to, all this bragging and boasting that you're doing, so if you really live up to that. But we know you ain't gonna, you're gonna flop hard. All right. So yeah, that's Ezekiel 1, man, and this is what basically is being described in in this article here. things that they're witnessing and whatever. All right. So yeah, they're trying to band together and trying to gather as much data as they can and finding a way how to come up against these things, man. But it's a fruitless endeavor. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So I read this from Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7. So, and there was a war in heaven, right? And it's not talking about in the spiritual realm, man. Okay, there's nothing but peace and tranquility in the spiritual realm, man. Okay, the Most High has got that in order. There's no disorder, and there has never been any disorder at any time in the spiritual realm at all, right? This is talking about here on earth. Okay, the sky, within the firmament is a heaven. Okay, our sky. Okay, there's a heaven outside of that. Okay, which is space, and there's a heaven of heavens, which is the spiritual realm, right? There's three heavens, as the scripture speaks about, right? This is talking about here on earth, because Yahushua is coming to the earth with his angels to declare war, right? This is what he's speaking about, right? So there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, right? Because Michael was going to be Yahushua. In fact, he's mentioned in Daniel chapter 12, in verse 1. Right? He's going to be here with Yahushua when he comes, because Michael is a high level angel. Okay, just a spot below Yahushua in terms of the army, the spiritual army, right? So he's going to be here, right? So Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, okay, and the dragon fought and his angels, Esau's military powers, okay, NATO, America, right? The EU, and not only the world powers, because they're going to try and get in, trying to defend or keep their power, right? So they're going to come against the angels, right? So the dragon and his angels fought. I said his military powers, okay, his fighter jets and whatever, man, right? But it says here in verse 8, and prevailed not, right? So they ain't going to win, okay, far from it, okay, they're not even going to come close to winning, right? And prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven, right? So they're not going to be in their power anymore. They're not going to be rulers over the earth anymore. Yahushua says he's going to come and take their crowns, right? Esau is going to fall from heaven, right? He's going to fall from his higher state, beginning with these elites, right? Because they're at the top of the food chain. They're at the top of their powers right now. And the Yahushua is going to bring them down to the size of the pit. And that's exactly where you're going to be at. All right, you're going to be brought down low, to the lowest. Right? And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Okay, Esau out here is the one deceiving the whole earth. Right? So he was cast out into the earth, down to the ground, right? And his angels were cast out with him. Okay, you'll be taken out of power and you're going to be cast down. All right. So, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation. So what's that got to do? People talk about, oh, this is what happened in heaven in the spiritual world. What's that got to do with the salvation to establish a kingdom of heaven here on earth? What's that got to do with that, right? So I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren, because we're here down on earth, right, is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. Right, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And that's ultimately why they're banding together now to kind of confront this threat, because time is running short. Right, and this is why Esau's doing everything that he can right now to prepare for this fight, the fight for Earth, the fight for Middle Earth or whatever, man. Because Esau wants to retain or keep his power. He wants to, stay in his heaven. Okay, because Yahushua is coming to take it away from him, right? And establish himself and his people, the Israelites. That's why he's talking about our brethren. All right. So 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 7. And to you who are troubled, rest with us, when the Lord Yahushua shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels. Right? That's his army, right? in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not God and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Shai, who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power. All right. So yeah, Yahweh Shai is coming down to earth to defend his brethren, to save the elect, and to wage war against the nations, beginning with Esau, right? Revelation 19 and verse 11 says, "And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse." Okay, another, horse represents power. Okay, white just means pure, holy. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Okay, this is Yahweh Shai. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, right? Because he's taking the crowns of the nations, right? And he had the name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And the armies which were in heaven, okay, followed him upon white horses. Okay, and let's say it's the angels in their chariots, coming with great power, holy power, right? Clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, and that with it he shall smite the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. He's going to take their power from them and put them into subjection. Can rule them with severity. That's what this rod of iron is, severity. He ain't coming, How Shai, who you call Jesus Christ, isn't coming to play nice with nobody, man. He ain't coming to treat nobody nice, except for the elect, He gonna put pain and hell upon you nations, man, for your transgressions, right? And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty God. And he has on his vesture and on his fire a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. All right. So that's how Yahushua is rolling, man, with the army of angels, man, that are, pretty much omnipotent powers, man. They can't be hurt, they can't be damaged, right? They're getting powered by the source. They ain't running out of no juice. You ain't gonna get weak or I'm drained. My energy's drained, and then they don't get tired. You know what I'm saying? They got enough power to destroy galaxies and that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. You don't stand a chance. They man got to hold back against you, man. Them angels got to hold back against you, look, man. They can only come down and show 1% of their power, because otherwise it'd be too much. It'd be too peak for everybody. And actually got to hold back on Esau, man. It's madness. All right, but what did I want next? Actually, because it mentioned the horses here, and I wanted to link that up with something here. Right, because Jeremiah 4 and 13 says this, right? It said, "Behold, he shall come up as clouds." Okay, chariots, essentially, right? Because that's going to appear, right? Same way Yahushua was taken up into a cloud. It's the same expression being used, right? He went up in a chariot. So, and his chariots, right, as it goes on to say, shall be as a whirlwind, right? It speaks about the chariots as a whirlwind too. His horses are swifter than eagles. And these vessels that we read in Ezekiel, right? Like I said, they went and turned. They didn't have to turn around. They just went. Okay, they're swift as eagles, right? And that's what Esau witnessing. Can't catch them and shit, right? He says, "Woe unto us, for we are spoiled," right? And already when they come, the earth is going to get spoiled. Esau's going to be spoiled. All right. Where is it? Yeah. Isaiah 66 verse 15 says, "For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with fires of flame. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many." All right, so yeah, they're not coming to do nothing good to the earth, man. They're coming to subject the people on it, okay, and save only a few people, man. Right, but I'm just linking up, the word in here, like the chariots, the horses, the whirlwinds. Okay, it's all speak about the same thing. It's speak about the armies of the Lord when they come, when they appear, right? Revelation 1:7 says this. It says, behold, he coming through clouds. So if Yahushua is coming with angels, right, he's coming with these mighty angels, coming with the horses, and white and pure, uh, this is what he's speaking about. Right? So he's coming through clouds, and every eye shall see him, because they're gonna be around the earth. Everyone's gonna see it. Right, and they also which pierced him, and all kindred of the earth shall wail because of him, even so on. Right, so this is not going to be a great event for the earth. Everyone's deliberating whether or not this is a good thing that there's aliens, or people think that aliens, whether if it's a good thing or not. The answer is no. It's not a good thing for the majority of people on the planet. It's good for us. Lord willing, if we be of the elect, because it's not even good for the majority of our people, man. Because the majority of our people are wicked and they're going to be destroyed too. But it's good for the elect. And Lord will be a part of that number. Right, so ultimately, that event that takes place is not, when you see so-called UFOs up in the sky, and it's not going to be a good day. Just know that. It's a curse upon the earth. We just read it. Right? People are going to wail. Going to be crying and shit. All right? So, ending it on second Ezra's here. Yep, that was what left in it. Yeah. All right, this is second Ezra chapter 3. Sorry, chapter 13, verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Again, he's talking about the angels, right? The chariots, these white horses, right? And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. Again, which is read in Revelation 1:7. The people are going to wail, right? People are going to be distressed. Okay, when the Yahushua comes, right? And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth fadeth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men, Satan's angels, or the dragon's angels, right? The militaries, that are left out of World War III, because a lot of you are going to get mashed up during that. But, you're going to come up and try and fight the Lord. Because kind of been preparing for this day, right? For an invasion, right? From outsiders. So you got to be prepared, right? Supposedly. But you're not even going to come close to doing anything, right? So, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven, okay, from all over the earth, from all nations, right? Anyone that can fight, because not everybody got air force and things like this, right? But everybody that throughout the world that got a military, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Okay, and this is this war in heaven. It's when Yahushua comes back here on earth. It's not talking about no spiritual war up in the heavens where the Most High, I don't know, he's having trouble. The Most High is having trouble, like squashing dissent. Like, what the hell you think is going on up there, man? Who do you think the Most High is? The Most High is all powerful, man. Like, there ain't nothing going on that ain't supposed to be going on in that realm at all, man. Everybody's subject in that realm, man. Perfectly. Okay, even the wicked out up there, in out of their body, in the spirit, they're in order. Okay, that's the whole point of having a kingdom of heaven on earth. So the earth is well, as the scripture, that's saying as above, so below. It's supposed to replicate the order that's in heaven. Okay, we need order here, and that's what Yahushua is coming to bring, order. All right. Where was I? Verse 6 said, but I beheld, and lo, he had graded himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereat the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. Because the Most High going to put the spirit on you to fight, even though even though you have no chance of winning. You're staring at a bunch of super beings, man, a bunch of super saiyans, fucking lightning and cracking around them and shit, fucking doing come out my arms on your ass, man, destroying you. Like, come on, man. What chance do you have? You be like a apocalypse, man, and fucking dissing your weaponry, man. Yeah, sticks and firestones type shit. Sticks and stones in comparison, you know. But that you're outmatched, outclassed, and everything, man. You're not outnumbered necessarily because there's a lot of men, but you might be. Who knows at that point, man? How much your military is going to be gone, but but you're definitely outclassed, man. Definitely outclassed. You know. So, verse 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath. And out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, man. Some raw energy beam. You know? Some final Kamehameha shit, man. Just tear you up. Alright, disintegrate you. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. So you was prepared to fight, kinda. He's there to fight. But guess what? You didn't fight. You couldn't even defend yourself. You were prey. You were like a rabbit before a wolf. Like, what is the rabbit gonna do? The rabbit isn't gonna do shit. If the rabbit can't run, he ain't doing shit because the rabbit might get paralyzed out of fear. Easy dinner for the wolf. He ain't gonna chase it at night. That's what you're gonna be like, man. You're gonna be deers in the fucking headlight. Just stunned, like shit. And you're just gonna get destroyed. You're not gonna put up a fight. Alright? And fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude there was nothing. You can just get wiped out one time. The Lord liked to demonstrate his power, and that's what you're gonna do to you and your armies, man. Just wipe you out, one fell swoop. Alright? But only the dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Right? And yeah, it's gonna be a fearful day. That's why the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. But this is what Esau, seeks to come up against, man. And you think if you just gather enough data or whatever, you can find some sort of tactic or way to deal with them. You're sorely mistaken. All right. But anyway, I just want to bring that up. Lord, when this is edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video, man. So the next time I say shalom.